Good morning. It's Saturday 30th of August and I'm out for my long run. Hopefully 20 kilometres today. But things are still not plain sailing. I don't want this video to be just me moaning about the state of things. However, it is worth kind of going into where I'm at. So 4 weeks ago today, it was the tail end of my recovery week. The week before that I'd done 80 kilometres, just over 80 kilometres, and while I felt tired, everything felt okay. The week before that we're in Chamonix, and I've done a lot of ascent, some great runs, a lot of time on feet. I'm feeling pretty fit. So I was getting into this recovery week fatigued but happy, and everything, nothing felt broken. So progress had been good, and then I was in a recovery week and certainly I felt fatigued, and you know, I needed the recovery week, but it was going okay. And then Saturday I went to do my long run, and it was about the same distance as this, and my right knee really started to feel quite sore. Sort of runner's knee, not my sort of usual IT band issue on the outside of the knee. So I was like, oh god, that's a bit of a pain. Seems like I need more deload time. So I thought, right, the following week I'm not going to do any running through the week, I'll just do it the weekend. So, and that was okay, but since then my running volume has been a lot lower, and despite that I'm not feeling massively recovered. So like I say, I try not to moan too much, but currently, yeah, my right knee still niggles a little bit, but it's not as bad as it has been. So I've definitely made some improvements there. But currently, so my left hip and sort of down my left leg, down sort of TFL area, it's now feeling really tight and aching. Oh, and then now that's interrupting my sleep. So things just aren't going well. And I don't know if it's because of these physical issues or whether it's all part of the same systemic issue. I've just been feeling really tired, like really fatigued, physically and mentally. So things like resting heart rate's been a lot higher than normal. Heart rate variation a lot lower than normal. Sleep score a lot worse than normal. Body battery never getting up to 100, and you know, even in my sort of tough weeks, you know, I'd have a tough run, then maybe a rest day, and then a body battery would drop down, and then I'd have a rest day and it would be right back up there, and sort of my training readiness was always high, but it's just not at the minute. I'm just feeling worn out, which is so frustrating given that I was doing 80 kilometres and actually not feeling broken, feeling a bit tired, and you know, going through these cycles of 3 weeks on, 1 week off, and making sure I was doing good recovery, and I'm doing strength and conditioning to try and, you know, address some underlying weaknesses. My nutrition was good, but now I feel like my nutrition's also out because I'm a little bit overeating. Just want to make sure that I'm eating enough, but there's also a degree of comfort eating as well, I have to say, because I'm just feeling a bit down about my state. So I'm doing a little bit of comfort eating, which I then feel guilty about, which then is just like, yeah. So there's a bit of a cycle. However, over the past few weeks, I have, sort of 3 weeks, I've been able to build the volume a little bit. So this week, if I do the run today at 20k, and then tomorrow I'm due to do a 12, that's going to be overall for the week, I think something like 62, 63 kilometres, something like that. So that's not too bad. The big thing that's looming in my mind though is that in 5 weeks time, I'm doing a 80 kilometre run in the West Highland Way, doing it over 2 days. So basically, effectively back-to-back marathons. And as I stand here today, I definitely don't feel fit and ready for that. And so that's a bit of a worry, because this was going to be a kind of key checkpoint on my road to doing the long run for my 50th. Been able to do the distance over a weekend and doing genuine back-to-back long runs. So just need to see. I'm gonna, I've accepted that on that run, there's going to be a fair amount of walking on the uphills and just trying to preserve my legs. The great thing is there's no time limit on it, because we're staying away, run it with my friend Dave, staying away. We've got plenty of time, so that's certainly in my favour. But yeah, this feeling of exhaustion and just not recovering and resting, it's not great. It's not great. So I've been at sports massage, I've been at physio, and in terms of the knee issues, they both put it down to the same thing, which is a bit of like weakness in the right glutes, and I've had that for a long time, and I am working to resolve that. So that gets fatigued, and then a bit of tightness in the right quad, which I didn't realise. I thought my quads were doing okay, but a little bit tight there. So that's just kind of pulling the kneecap out of alignment a little bit, causing the discomfort. It's great to know that the joint itself is fine, but yeah. So I've been doing more foam rolling, massage gun, stretching. I have to say I probably haven't been great at stretching post run, but I have, really tried to work on that. So we see, and I just hope that I can sort of rebuild back up to the volume I was doing, and keeping these sort of issues at bay, and hopefully they just sort of fade out over the next few weeks. So I don't think there's an instant solution for it, but I just need to see. But first things first, let's get this 20k done today. Fundamentally, I think probably the underlying issue that was actually more fatigue than I'd appreciated, but the sort of euphoria and motivation of continuing to build mileage and running in Chamonix was carrying me through. However, looking back, I'm still not sure what clues there were that I had this issue coming up. So, and the frustrating thing about that is I'm not sure how I would then be able to prevent it in the future, given that I do build in deload weeks. Fundamentally, running injuries and sort of issues like I have really come down to basically just due to asking the body to do more than it is ready to do. There are plenty of athletes running, over 100 kilometres a week and not having an issue, but they have built up to that. They have probably gone through some of the issues I've gone through. And for me, I mean, a lot of it isn't cardio fitness. In fact, none of it's cardio fitness. My cardio is pretty good. It's muscular endurance, and in particular, as I was mentioning, things like weak glutes. And my weak glutes is something that I have allowed to happen over a long period of time, and it's unrealistic really to expect that to be resolved in a short period of time. And I have been doing strength and conditioning. You know, the past year and a bit I've been pretty serious about it, but there's only so much I can lift and I can do, because it does in itself cause a lot of fatigue. So if I have the fatigue from lifting and fatigue from running, then I'm very much in danger of overtraining. So it's all about a balance. I can only do so much at a time, and you know, I need to be building up running volume. So but it's difficult. It's been really difficult to build that glute strength, and it becomes more difficult as you get older to build muscle. I'm 49, and you know, there's no way I can build muscle like I was a 19-year-old or even a 39-year-old. It's not to say I can't build it, but yeah. So that brings me on to a related topic. Back in the spring, I'd been reading a bit about the symptoms of low testosterone, sort of mood, mental fatigue, but also things like, you know, if you don't have as much testosterone, you're going to struggle to recover from exercise just quite as well. So I thought we'd get tested, and it turns out I do have low testosterone, and I've gone through a whole sort of rigmarole to get to where I am today. But basically I needed to see an endocrinologist after the doctor's blood test, and there wasn't really, it was going to take a long while to do in the NHS, so I was able to secure a private endocrinology appointment through my work's health insurance, which is fantastic. So and he's like, yeah, you genuinely have a problem, and I don't know why. So yeah, and all the sort of common causes, and mine, and he's diagnosed it as secondary hypogonadism, which basically means that my body isn't signalling to produce testosterone. There's no evidence that it can't produce testosterone, it's not doing the signalling. So that might indicate something like a pituitary issue. And I've had an MRI for my pituitary, no issues. So we don't really know what the cause is, and I guess there needs to be further discussions around that. However, 10 days ago I did start on testosterone replacement therapy gel. So basically the minimum dose. I'm not trying to really I don't really want to take a huge amount. There can be negative consequences of that, and I have no bodybuilding aspirations. So once a day, 1 squirt of testosterone gel, rub it on. I'll get blood tests in 3 weeks time to see how it has affected my levels, and we'll take it from there. But fundamentally, it'd be nice to address the root cause. But it'd be interesting to see what TRT does, both in terms of my mental state, but also things like physical recovery. Will it help me build my leg muscles, my glutes a bit more? That'll be interesting to see, and that'd be a nice outcome. So, yeah, no longer a natural athlete through medical exemption. That's me just over halfway in. I'm feeling okay. I mean, things just don't feel smooth and light. Normally, about the 10k mark, I'd be like, oh, I'm warmed up now, things are feeling good, and just settling in for the long distance. Whereas today, it just feels like harder work. But nothing's particularly sore. It just, lower legs feeling a bit tight. Left hip, I can feel that a little bit fatigued. And right knee, I'm certainly aware of. But I'm out and I'm doing it. I have to say, the favourite thing about running at this time of year is picking up breakfast on the way. Delicious. It's been a very good year for blackberries. And not a bad day for running, actually. It's really nice to be out. It just would be nice to be feeling a little bit more fluid. Some days the miles come easy. Today's not one of those days. Anyway. Still good to be out. 19k in and on the home stretch. And it really feels like autumn around here, which is pretty unusual for the end of August. Nothing feeling really sore, to be honest. Just not light and strong and smooth. Anyway, managed. It's ended up going slightly further than planned. I did 21.1. No point in just doing 21, is there? Quite slow at a 6:16 pace, but managed 90% in zone 1 or 2. So it wasn't a terrible run. Just, as I say, not feeling strong, sort of light in my feet, and yeah, it didn't come easy, but no pain anywhere really, which is good. And then hopefully 12k tomorrow. Have a good weekend.